Welcome back to the Z Shed. Stripping the underside of my 1979 Holden HZ 1-tonner cab has been slow going and taking a lot longer than I had thought. That's for a couple of reasons. One is it is a bit of hard work, and secondly, things just didn't pan out the way I had planned. So I am, though, getting close to the end of the stripping process, and that means I need to make a decision about whether I go with my original plan to use KBS to treat and coat the underside, or whether there's something better I should be using given the condition that the underside of the cab is in. So I have been working on the underside of this cab all year, which sounds absolutely ridiculous, but there are a few reasons why I haven't been able to give this the attention that I would like to. One of them is that this shed only has solar power. So I have had to get a petrol air compressor to run an air sander that's going to help me kind of get into the more difficult places to reach that the grinder's just too big for. Also, we have been building a shade shed beside the Z shed, which will ultimately be the space where I work on the chassis and the body, I guess, sanding and prepping and learning how to paint it. Another reason is that we've had a lot of rain earlier this year, and this shed is not really a great place to work in the rain. I need to have the doors open for light and for air, I guess, and the rain just comes straight in, so that's not a good thing for bare metal work. I'm also rebuilding a Holden 308 to replace this 202 that came in the HZ, and that 308 had a couple of challenges this year that I wasn't expecting to have, cam timing problems and also valve train geometry problems. So I did give a bit more attention to the 308. Plus, I accidentally got addicted to moto track days and even went out and bought a dedicated track bike. So that has been taking a bit of time getting myself set up and in a rhythm with doing track days. Nearly once a month, actually. Now, all excuses aside, I am still in love with this tonner build, and any time I get to come down here and work on it makes me super happy. So today I'm hoping to grind a little bit more. I doubt that I'll finish that this afternoon, but yep, any small step of progress is progress nonetheless. So I'll give you a bit of a synopsis of what I'm finding underneath this cab. Straight away, you can probably notice that the metal is in really good condition. Got so lucky with this cab. Now, the passenger side floor pan did have to get replaced at some point in its life, and from what I can tell, it was done really well. There is no more rot kind of forming. Maybe if I put a bit of light on that. There's not really any more rot that I found when I was grinding away the coating, and they were super generous with seam sealer as well, so I think that's really kept a lot of the water out. So that's a pretty good fix. I'm not going to tamper with that. What I have done though is take as much of that seam sealer out as I can, because I was thinking that if I'm putting KBS on it, it's not going to stick to the seam sealer, the final coat, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to rethink whether I should be using something else under here. The coating that was on the underside was kind of a rubbery sort of coating, and you can see it sort of smearing around there. When I have ground off that coating, which takes a bit of effort with the grinder, and you can see all of the rubbery dust that it leaves behind. Yeah, I'm not really sure what it was. If you've got a clue, maybe let me know, but I don't know if there's any way to really find out. But I've been coating the bare metal that I've just freshly ground with WD-40 and kind of massaging it in, so all of that excess rubber coating is kind of smeared in with the WD-40, which is why it's got that funny kind of colour to it. But the metal itself is awesome. There are a few little dings, as you'd expect, underneath a car, not only this old, but a one-tonner, which is a work truck. So it has had a ding in that cross member there. And I also discovered, last time I was down here grinding, some body filler in this bottom one. Now, I do not know what to expect here. I'm not really sure why somebody would put body filler under my finger's grabbed onto something. What is that? Body filler. Why somebody would bother doing that on the underside, especially there, but not here. There is a little bit of surface rust down inside the part of the cab that sits on the chassis rails. So obviously the cab was not removed before whatever this coating is was put on, but none of that is rot. It's all really surface rust and comes off very easily. And there's absolutely no damage to the metal there. So I'm going to spend another hour or two today just continuing the grinding process. And in the meantime, if you're watching this video and you have some experience with treating the underside of a cab like this one, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and suggestions about which way you think I should go with coating this. I know there's Bully Liner, Raptor, obviously the KBS, which I used on the inside and on the firewall, but I don't know if it's the right product for the underside, given that it's the underside of the cab and also the condition that it's in, which is really quite good. So yeah, open to all of your suggestions, and I'll take them on board and report back in the next video on the cab when I'm ready to actually do the coating on the underside. See you then.